What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to take a look at the user scores for Battlefield 2042, talk about them, talk about how they compare really to the other ones, because I think when you do talk about review scores, obviously the first thing you could bring up is, well, hasn't this happened before? You know, Call of Duty's actually historically a different shooter franchise. Those games get, you could say, review bombed, or you could just say get low scores, because I want to talk about that in a second. You could say it gets low scores every single year. What does it actually, matter? Now, I have some thoughts about that as well that I'll, talk about as this video goes on. So basically what we have here is Battlefield 2042's PC Metacritic. Now, I'm not going to look at like the IGNs of the world, because historically, weirdly enough, while the scores fluctuate, the user scores fluctuate each one, the general reception from critics tends to be exactly the same. They really don't have any diversity there. Same thing with Call of Duty. They seem to always get 8s or 9s no matter what people are saying about them, so I'm not really going to focus on that. Now, again, this is only the early access people, right? These are the people that bought the, the highest editions of Battlefield, that let them play the game on November 12th, right? The Friday. So, again, not everybody's played it. And also, again, some of these people may have never actually played it, right? 2.6. It's got a 2.6 out of 10 based off of 1,000, at the time I'm recording, 1,145 scores. I believe it's gone down. I think last night, my time when I checked, it was 2.9. So it's going down. And again, Metacritic doesn't have a thing where you need to prove anything in order to be able to review these games, right? You can just, drop a review however you want, okay? So you have that, 2.6, okay? Now, for the other ones, I want to look back at the last 4, and I want to look at the lowest scores that were given. So Battlefield 1, actually, the lowest score was a 7.1. That was the lowest user score on any platform, PS4, Xbox One, PC. 7.1 based off 2,400 scores. Battlefield 5, 2,812 people gave it a 2.5, 2.5. So that's the lowest for when I saw, at least recently, that's the lowest Battlefield score that's ever, been given out. I guess 2.6 is getting pretty close though, right? Battlefield 4 is a little bit weird. The lowest score is a 6.2 on PC based off of almost 4,000 people, but the other platforms, PS4, Xbox One, they actually are more in the 7s. So people on consoles or people that reviewed it on consoles tend to have, given it a higher score. Okay, so 6.2 is the lowest one. So, based off of that, Battlefield 2042 is looking like it's probably going to be the worst one, specifically maybe because, you don't have everybody reviewing it yet. You're going to have more people reviewing it, I think, as the week goes on, and specifically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to have a lot of people. I don't know. I mean, it's like 1,700 behind the amount of people that reviewed Battlefield 5 on PS4, and again, it has a 2.5. So it only needs to drop 0.1 to be the worst reviewed, from people that are, I guess, ideally playing the game. Now, a couple things to throw in there, right? Number one, you could say, well, people just give it bad scores to give it bad scores. I do believe that happens, but like things that have been kind of spotted online recently, the Eternals, which I know is a movie, follow me through though, when Eternals was review bombed, quote unquote, it actually had double the positive reviews at the same time as the negative. So everybody focused on those, 0s and 1s and 2s out of 10s that Eternals got, I believe on IMDb, but it actually got double the amount of 10 out of 10s before the movie was seen. So everybody was complaining about low scores, but actually double the people reviewed it a perfect score without seeing it. So I guess my point with that, and it is a little different with games, granted it is that you will also have people that give it, good scores for no reason. So yeah, you can look at the 0s and you can look at people that literally just are typing, nonsense, that nothing actually works. But then you have one, this is just the first one that pops up. The game gives me 10 frames per second with my 1050 Ti exceeded expectations. And it's a 10 out of 10. So it's sarcasm, but it's 10 out of 10. It's stupid. Nobody's actually going to find that useful anyway. But it gave it a perfect score. So that 10 negates a 0. You know what I mean? So that's something, and you look at even the other ones too. And I would say for Metacritic and for games, I would argue there is a little bit less review bombing that just goes on in general. Sure, certain games, certain properties will, and I guess Battlefield would be one of them. But again, a thing to note is you can just look at the other platforms to kind of see where the real mindset is. If they're all relative, like for Battlefield 4, right? The PC score 6.2, that is, you know, kind of low, but the other ones are in like the 7s. I would argue that all of that stuff is legit because it probably, you know, obviously for PC, maybe it just ran worse and people were not happy with that upon launch, and that's how it got, you know, a lower score. And even games that maybe get high scores on consoles and then maybe gets like, you know, a 7 or 8 on consoles and then gets like a 2 or 3 on PC, those are normally probably the games that have horrible, you know, PC launches. So what I'm trying to say is I think a lot of the stuff is legit for Battlefield 2042. The game's in trouble. Now, I don't have it yet. I'm going to be playing it, you know, on Friday, so I don't want to you know, speak on it too much because I really, you know, you guys are not coming to me for me to talk about the game when I haven't played it yet. I want it to be good. I've always wanted this game to be good, but from what I've seen of the, you know, kind of early impressions or people that were able to play the game or started playing it on Friday, I have seen people that are enjoying it, but there's a lot of people that are not enjoying it too. I would say actually more people that I've personally seen that are not liking it, and it's just not, to my opinion, or for my opinion, it's not a good time for this to happen. When I'm recording this, it's before Xbox's anniversary stream. Halo, like if Halo's multiplayer drops on Monday, that's a death wish in my opinion, or that's a death sentence for Battlefield. I don't really, I know they're different multiplayer games, they're different shooters in a way, but I mean Halo releasing, you know, 5 days before or 4 days before the mass release of Battlefield 2042 is, I think, just not, you know, a good thing for EA whatsoever, especially when you have a game that was not well received in the beta. Now, I have seen that, like, the game's better than the beta, but then people kind of counter with, well, anything's better than the beta. So, like, is it actually, you know, I mean, is that actually an improvement? So, you know, again, I don't have too much to say, but I am saddened and scared about the review scores, and I'm not on the side of saying, I'm not on the side of, I guess, dismissing it when, again, all of the stuff I've previously said. It's lining up more. I guess what's a little odd is I did not like Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 1 is like, out of the 4, the second highest, I guess, throughout. I think Battlefield 4 on like the consoles is a higher score, but I never really liked Battlefield 1. Battlefield 5 definitely was, you know, one of, if not the worst one. So I guess 2042 lining up with 5 is not a good sign. And again, you could say these are just people online, you don't care, and that's fine. In fact, I actually, you know, want you guys to think for yourselves, be your own person, you know, do what you feel, you know, you have to do. So if you want to play the game and you don't care what the user scores is, that's fine. I'm doing the same thing. You know, I mean, I'm going to get the game and play it while staring at a 2.6 out of 10. But I'm just saying, for those that would say, you know, a lot of the zeros are fake, or they're just giving it a 0 to give it a 0. True. And I guess in this case, you can't say every 10 will even out a 0 because there's way more negative scores than positive scores. But again, like I said, I'm not saying for every 0 there's a 10, but there are zeros that are pointless, and then there's 10 out of 10s that are that are fake, basically, right? That aren't I guess real, or aren't like genuine. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, do you think the game will drop even more? I feel like it will probably get down to like a 2.0 by the time, you know, 1,000, 2,000 more people review it. So we'll have to see, you know, where the scores go once it releases. But let me know what you think. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I will be, you know, covering the game. I'll be playing it. We'll probably be live streaming it, so there will be videos on 2042, and I'll talk about, you know, my impressions if it's garbage or not on the channel. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.